All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we give our praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel. And as you can see, title of this article, Theodore Roosevelt, the only good Indians are the dead Indians. Right? And pretty much, what sparked me to do this lesson is at camp this past Saturday, there was floats of this man, Theodore Roosevelt, also known as Teddy Roosevelt, and pretty much going to how he's glorified in this land, all right, being so-called America, all right, and this man is a damn devil, okay? He ultimately hated you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, and today, and he's celebrated after the terrible things he have done onto the Lord's people, okay? They make movies after him. You watch Night at the Museum. Okay, they glorify this man. Okay, again saying they had floats. Okay, because there's a parade called Gasparilla, which is another wicked celebration going into the destruction of the Native Indians. Okay, ultimately, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as a whole, right? Because we're the same people. All right, your destruction is celebrated. Okay, you have Thanksgiving. Okay, so on and so forth. It's a celebration, and it's a slap in the face, all right, to you. Okay, because this land was established by your blood, by your destruction. Okay, and it still prospers because of the same reason. All right, nothing has changed. All right, this devil has not changed his hatred toward you. Okay, and this is biblical hatred. That's why I run so deep. Okay, always people say it's not just black, it's not just white. It's about Jacob and Esau. Okay. And Esau has hated Jacob from the beginning. Okay, that's why to say, can the Ethiopian change his skin? Can the leopard change his spots? All right, pretty much. Can ye do good that is accustomed to do evil? All right, all this man has done is nothing but evil unto so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. All right, and they keep coming back and coming back and coming back and doing the same exact thing. All right, showing no mercy unto you. Okay, and well, since I was talking about the beginning, all right, let's get into the story really quick, okay, of why the so-called white man and the so-called black man hate each other, okay, and they can't get along, okay. This is Genesis chapter 25, and start at verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, or Beth, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, forgive me, Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah took wife, and Rebekah his wife conceived. All right. And the children struggled together within her. All right, this is the point. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. Okay, why? Because there was a fight going on in her womb. Okay. Here it is, not even being born, fighting in the womb. Okay. Struggling together against each other. Okay, because why? Because obviously they were not made to get along. All right. This is verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Okay. So 2 manner of people. Okay. 2 nations. Okay. So pretty much the point that here going into they're separated, they can't mix. Okay. They can't get along. Okay. Like when you put oil and water. Okay. And so on and so forth. They don't mix. Okay. They're naturally going to separate. Nature is going to separate them, because they're not designed, they were not created to be mixed. Okay. Continuing, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay. And the one people being stronger than the other people is talking about Jacob. Okay. Being you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you are naturally stronger than the so-called white men. All right. Why? Because you are the children of the Most High, Yahawah. Okay, so it's just natural that you're naturally going to be stronger. All right, what it is we're cursed at the moment because of our disobedience. But the point is that we are the Lord's people, okay, not the so-called white man. All right, and that goes into his biblical envy and hate towards you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Why? Because the Lord ultimately chose you and not him, okay? And the elder shall serve the younger, okay? Esau was born first. All right, he came out the womb first, okay? And we're going to read it. All right, it's verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. All right, Jacob and Esau. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, okay? Red, talking about his pigment, okay? He has translucent skin, all right? He came out unnatural, okay? He came out born with leprosy, all right? And that's ultimately a curse, all right? That's a sin, all right, to have pale skin, all right? Having no pigmentation, all right? And that's the so-called white man, all right? He is the progenitor. Esau is the progenitor of the self-proclaimed so-called white man, okay? And he's not white. He's red, okay? He's because his blood is seen through his skin, all right? And it doesn't go into the description of Jacob and how he looks because he was normal. He was natural, okay? He was a melanated baby, all right? He is the progenitor of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Jacob's name later changed to Israel, okay? Being why we're called the Israelites, okay? The Israelites, all right? We are the seed of Jacob, all right? And that's the seed line that the Lord has chosen, all right? Down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then down to Jacob's 12 sons, okay? And so on and so forth, all right? All down to King David, okay? All the way down to our Lord, to down where we are now today, okay? Those are our forefathers, all right? This is verse 26. And after that manner, his brother came out, all right? Jacob, all right? And his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, okay? So, again, going into the fight, okay? Till they were born, till, pretty much, again, to their origin, they've been fighting, all right? And nothing has changed, okay? The Lord never made a peace treaty, okay, between the two seeds. They were designed to be against each other, okay? Because that's the balance of the Lord, okay? Esau, being a so-called white man, he's a progenitor of the wicked, okay? And Jacob being the progenitor of the righteous, being your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I am holding down Esau's heel, okay? You go into Greek mythology, okay? Going into the Achilles heel, okay? Pulling down the heel, okay? Achilles was, going in. You can read the story for yourself, but it's spiritual, okay? Because that's what's happening right now. All right, we're pulling down Esau, the so-called white man, in his kingdom spiritually by bringing out the word, because ultimately this is biblical prophecy. But going in back, to why I brought this out in the first place is this hatred is runs deep, okay? This is the whole. These are the main characters in the story, okay? You're going into Jacob and Esau, all right? And that's why it's always black and white, okay? Black and white, okay? Black and white. They don't mix. They're two different things, okay? They just don't mix, all right? And that's going into Jacob and Esau, okay? Being a so-called white man and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, okay? Let's go back to this article, okay? Going back to this natural hatred that this man has for us, okay? Because he is our enemy, okay? He is not our friend. He is a foe, all right? He's a biblical enemy, okay? So that means this hatred is justified, okay? You can't get mad at the so-called white man for hating you. That's what he was made to do, okay? There's no coming together, okay? And in the times coming in now, you can really see his horns, okay? Because he's been on top, been docile, been unchallenged, right? But now he's going to what? Come down on you again with that biblical hatred, going into him coming down great wrath, knowing he had but a short time. All right, but nonetheless, going to this article, the only good Indians are the dead Indians, okay? Showing you that this man's hatred is the same for you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, all right? You're the same people in his eyes. He calls you niggers. He calls you this and that, okay? You're the same people, all right? But what he's done is he separated you by giving you different names and going into those Bibles and Proverbs, having you thinking you're not the same people, okay? Because if you figured out you were the same people, you'll come together and come up against him, okay? And that's what's happening right now, okay? The Lord is setting us in order before his eyes, and he hates it, all right? He's trembling because of it, because he knows, like they say, what is it? This room is not big enough for the both of us, okay? We can't get along, okay? And the Lord's getting ready to ultimately show who he's dealing with and who he's not dealing with, just like he did with the story of Jacob and Esau. All right, but read some of this article, you know, going into what this devil's been doing, all right, from the beginning, okay, ultimately plotting against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right, to destroy you, all right, because going in back to the story of Jacob and Esau, you know, you can read for yourself, Genesis 27 chapter, all right, and when Jacob received the blessing, all right, what it said, Esau hated Jacob because why? Because he was blessed by his father, okay, he received the blessing, all right, ultimately again he was chosen, all right, and not him. Jacob was chosen and not chosen and not Esau, all right, rightfully so, all right, but Esau, being the devil that he is, he would never say that he's wrong. He'll never, you know, repent. He'll never feel sorry. He'll never turn back. Okay, you know, he's an unreasonable man. Okay, that's why Apostle Paul said, "Deliver us from wicked and unreasonable men." If you're paraphrasing, all right. But you know what happened after Jacob received the blessing? Esau was rejected. He said, "Then will I slay my brother Jacob." Okay, so this is what he's been doing ever since. Because you think, you know, going to going into the story, all right, Esau, what would he tell his children? All right, that Jacob stole the birthright, hate him, this and that. Okay, and that goes on from generation to generation to generation to generation. Okay, and it's more than carnal, it's spiritual, because again, the spirit in Esau is not upright within him. Okay, but the spirit in Jacob is a righteous spirit. Okay, because again, he belongs. Jacob, the seed of Jacob, is the children of YAHAWASHI. Okay, but here, here, 17 years earlier, Roosevelt going into, you know, skip it. Oh, here I read it. When Theodore Roosevelt took office in 2001, in 1901, he had already had a long legacy of animosity toward American Indians. All right, a long history. Did not just through spirit, just going into that long history. Okay, and it goes farther than his birth. Okay, going to Teddy Roosevelt's birth. It goes back to Jacob and Esau, and ultimately goes back to Cain and Abel. All right. Nonetheless, continuing 17 years earlier, Roosevelt, then a young widower, left New York in favor of the Dakotas, where he built a ranch, rode horses, and wrote about life on the frontier. When he returned to the East, he famously asserted that the most vicious cowboy has more moral principle than the average Indian. Okay, so going into the accuser of thy brethren. Okay, here it is, this man is coming in, stealing your land, raping your women, all right, killing you, taking everything you own, all right, calling the land by his name, all right, removing everything that you built, making you change your customs, all right, oppressing you and forcing you to speak his language, all right, under his rules, all right, and he says the most vicious cowboy has more moral principle than the average Indian. Okay, you know, the so-called Native Americans, they came with peace to you. All right, they felt bad for you because they saw you as a pale-faced dog. All right, so they wanted to help you. All right, they extended their arms out to you, and what did you do? You stretched out a sword. Okay, here's his quote: "I do not go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of every 10 are." Okay, so where is this evidence of this acquisition? Okay, how is this so? Okay, and it all just goes back to he just naturally hates you. All right, there's no reason why. All right, and that's why it says, "Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty." All right, the so-called Native Americans did nothing unto you. You sailed over here, okay, and you made an issue. All right, and you ultimately came up against them and slayed them. All right, and this is the nativity of so-called America. all right? This glorious, wonderful kingdom, all right? And it's the disgusting, vile history, which you refuse to talk about, all right? Which is fine, okay? Because though this people of this world not acknowledge, all right, because they don't care what happened to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, okay? It says, scripture say, who shall feel bad for thee? All right, roughly paraphrasing, who shall bemoan thee? All right, who shall ask how thou doest? Okay, this is a people robbed and spoiled, and none saith restore. Okay, no one's crying for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, which are the Israelites, the children of the Most High, to be put back in your proper estate. Okay, the only people doing that is his people. Okay, the other nations don't do it. Okay, and even 2/3 of our people don't do it. All right. Nonetheless, all right, Roosevelt said during a January 1886 speech in New York, I shouldn't like to inquire too closely into the case of the 10th. So saying, yeah, he said 9 and a 10, but pretty much the 10th is the same. Okay, they're better off dead. All right. Born in New York in 1858, Roosevelt dropped out of law school to seek a career in politics. Right. Because he had a quote. He said, because ultimately these devils know who we are. All right, we're going into the lost tribes of Israel. Okay, they read the Bible, they study. Okay, could just say they are wiser than Daniel. All right, so they know. All right, but they're the devil. Okay, they're the adversary. They're liars. They're deceivers. So they're not going to tell you that they know. They'll in a roundabout way get to it, but ultimately won't admit it. Okay, this devil Teddy Roosevelt said, a thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education. So he dropped out of college. All right, because why? Because going into they call it politics. Okay, these devils know. All right, who we are. Okay, and he got into presidency, and his natural hatred. He's in knowing again. Going into the so-called white men. All right, what has changed since then? All right, nothing has changed. They nothing has changed. Okay, I'm not going to go into it. All right, you're going into the Spanish-American War. That's talked about in the Bible. All right, but he took office as the 26th president after William McKinley was assassinated. What am I looking for? Here, this is what I'm looking for. Roosevelt's 7.5 years in office were marked by his support of the Indian allotment system, the removal of Indians from their lands, and the destruction of their culture. Come on now. All right. Although he earned a reputation as a conservationist, right? He's a conservationist. He's the irony. All right. He wants to preserve. Okay. But he's at the same time stealing, destroying, raping, robbing, and so on and so forth. Add on into the adjectives. Okay. But he's considered in his reputation is known as a conservationist, but he's destroying the people. All right, what are you preserving? All right, your own self-interest. That's what ultimately it is. All right, placing more than 230 million acres of land under public protection. All right, because going into those national parks. All right, how are these national parks established? Who lived there? Nobody lived there. All right, you just showed up. Oh, this is a national park. I'm gonna protect this land. But who was there before you? All right, who was already protecting the land before you? All right, the so-called Native American Indians. All right, Roosevelt systematically marginalized Indians. Systematically, okay? Systematically. This is what this devil does, all right? Redlining, okay? All manner of things he's done, all right? He goes systematically, okay? Going into Jim Crow laws, right? Going into those, what's the word? I can't think of it right now, but those harsh laws, okay, against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, because ultimately, we're in bondage here, okay? It's a system. You cannot break the system if the one running the system, okay, allows it to happen, okay? We can't. We're prisoners, all right? Draconian laws. That's the word. Draconian laws, okay? Google search draconian laws, okay? Harsh systematic systems put in place against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, okay, because it's one to conquer you, but then it's to one to keep you conquered, all right, keep you down, keep you low, keep you destroyed, okay, and that's where the system comes in, okay, us being let up in prison houses, all right, so on and so forth, all right, uprooting them from their homelands to create national parks and monuments, to put his big crusty devil face on a mountain, okay, like the mountains want to be carved by your stinking face, okay, of your face, okay, speaking publicly about his plans to assimilate them and using them as spectacles to build his political empire, right? Assimilate, okay, making them conform, okay, oppression of man in his own heritage, okay, and that's scriptural, okay, because why? Because the power is in his hands to do so, okay, because ultimately, again, this is our punishment. The Lord put that whipping stick upon us, being the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, but Esau, Edom, so-called white man is not justified in his doings, okay? He's went far beyond, all right, his protocol, okay? He's went above his pay grade, okay? And to where he is now high and lofty, all right? What's the word? Tempting the Most High, okay? Saying, who can bring me down, all right? Who's going to see me of my works? Who's going to require me of what I've done? All right, the Lord said he requires things that are past, okay? So Esau, Edom, the Lord has not forgotten, all right, you so-called white men, women and children, all right, because you women and children are involved also, because you are the breeders of devils, all right, the women are the breeders of devils, and you children are children of monsters, okay, the women bring forth monsters, okay, all right, being these damn devils, all right, and then you got our women, all right, breeding these devils, okay, because the lineage goes through the man, all right, so it's all jacked up, we're all jacked up. All right, he was a man of many times, tweeted Roosevelt, he wanted the Native Americans to experience the American dream, but to do that by simulating. So they kick your ass, they do these things onto you and say it's for your own good. All right, what kind of madness is this? They already established, okay, they called Indian savages, okay, but where's the evidence of this? Okay, this goes into that propaganda. All right, these devils have their agenda and they paint it to the world, and everybody eats it up and believes it because he's a deceiver. Okay, the Indian population had been shrinking for a long time, and he believed that if they assimilated, that meant prosperity for everyone. No, prosperity for the so-called white men. Okay, going into Psalms 83rd chapter, going into that council with the other nations coming together to find a way to bring us down, because that means prosperity for them. Okay, because when we're on top, nobody's messing with us. Okay, but when we're brought low and the Lord's angry with us, that's their chance to what? Get over on us. All right. But here, they should be treated as individual like the women. Now they start, I haven't really read into this last part, but Indians were not equal to whites. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So they're treated exactly the same as you so-called Negroes. So you only Negro Israelites, you only Northern Tribe Israelites, you Latino Israelites. Okay. That's going off, okay, because scriptures say that Judah and Israel are pressed together, okay, because this devil has a statue. We have Mr. Spear brought up, it's called here the equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt, right? Here, the equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt is a 1939 bronze statue by James Francer. It is located at the American Museum of Natural History. Okay, so this stuff is promoted, this stuff is glorified, all right, and this is shameful. Okay, people walk past and they don't have an issue with this. Okay, never say that's not right. Okay, and this is what you call this is true American history. All right, the equestrian statue depicts Theodore Roosevelt on horseback, sitting to either side of him are an American Indian and an African, being a so-called Negro. All right, being the tribe of Judah. Okay, so Judah and Israel being impressed together. All right, then they're holding fast. I'm gonna have to get it. Refuse to let them go. Does it look like this fucking dude's gonna let them go? He's holding the shit out of them. Okay, and that's still going on today. All right. Here, Jeremiah 50:33. Thus saith the Lord YAHAWASHI of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast, They refuse to let them go. All right? Refuse to let us go. Look at this. Look at that. But we're not the same people. All right? And that's prophecy also. I've seen service upon horses and princes walking upon the earth or the ground, rough paraphrasing, which, I mean, I might as well get up. Let me see. Servants, horses. Yeah, this is it's in Ecclesiastes, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? So this is biblical prophecy. Right here it is. Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, the devil himself. All right. And this was another article going into which we was just reading. All right. Here going into those systematic laws, what was it called? The Indian allotment system, right? So here's called the Dow's Act, how Congress tried to destroy Indian reservations. All right, going into them coveting lands and naming them after their own selves. Okay, so-called America. All right, that's named after a man. All right, and all these cities, all right, these states, they're named after something. Okay, it all goes back to the so-called white men. All right, and they name you they'll name other things in mockery of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, how would you feel if the government confiscated your land, sold it to someone else, and tried to force you to change your way of life, all the while telling you it's for your own good? That's what Congress did to the Indian tribes 125 years ago today, with devastating results when it passed the Dow's Act. Okay, so it's another thing to learn about, read about. Okay, what this devil's been doing to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, and what has changed? Okay, again, I asked, what has changed? All right, did they return these lands back to you so-called Native Americans? Of course not. Okay, did they return these lands back onto you so-called Mexicans, Israelites? Of course not. Okay, you know, this man has done nothing but evil unto you. Okay, so this is what's getting ready to happen to him. Okay, so I said all that to say, all right, what is going to happen? What do we do now? Okay, now that we know all these things, all right, now that we know the so-called white man and his pure hatred for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, and being unsolvable by man's means, what do we do now? Okay, nothing has worked. Getting along, coming together, right? It has not worked. So what is going to happen now? Okay, because something has to be done. Okay, because these two nations are not going to get along ever. All right, so either one's going to get. The point is, one of them is going to have to go. All right, so who is it that's going to have to go? All right, and the short answer is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, he has to go from this earth. All right, he does not belong. There's no need for him to be here. And he's ultimately getting destroyed as we speak. Okay, everything he's done, putting us in slavery. All right, so on and so forth, is going to happen onto him. Okay, when we're going into his punishment, when his punishment is finished, he's going to be cut off and destroyed from this earth. All right. You're like, oh, that's pretty harsh. All right, well, we hardly scratch the surface on what this devil has done onto us. Okay. And you saying that now because you're sitting on your couch eating potato chips. All right, but when this time we're coming into, I go into that devil coming down in great wrath, then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, this man got to go. Okay, the nations are already seen it. Why do you think Iran and these other nations are sick and tired of dealing with it? Even Esau's tired of dealing with Esau. All right, so I need so many people just need to snap into a Slim Jim. All right. Let me see what I want to get. Oh, no, because I'm just gonna. This is a good one too. All right, Ezekiel. I had Ezekiel 35. Read through a few chapters. No, a few verses. Forgive me, but I'm just gonna end it out here because it just happens sometimes. Those lessons get stretched out, but as long as edifying, Lord's will, somebody out there gets edified, then I've done my job. But here's Ezekiel 25, and now I'll close out here. This is Ezekiel 25. Start at here, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Okay, Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father. All right, YAHAWASHI being the true name of his only begotten Son. Okay, that's the Lashon Kadash. That's our holy tongue. Okay, we all spoke the Paleo Hebrew. Okay, and that's how you say the Heavenly Father's name and His only begotten Son name. Okay, in the true tongue of the Hebrews. Okay, being the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right. So Ezekiel 25:12, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Ba'ashim Yahushai, because that Edom have dealt, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, right? I shall then will I slay my brother Jacob, coming after him with the sword, right, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon him, right? Took manner upon his own hands, all right, going ultimately against the will of Yahweh Shmi Shai, right? Really, as far as being a murderer, okay? He was a murderer from the beginning, okay? When I said that, pretty much obviously this is the will of Yahweh Shmi Shai, meaning this is his story, but meaning he broke the everlasting covenant, okay? He broke the brotherly covenant, all right? He slayed his brother, okay? And he's constantly been doing that, okay? So that's why we're no longer considered brothers, all right? Because ultimately his line has been cut off, all right? All right, but here I read again, Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Ba'ashim Yahushai, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Ba'ashim Yahushai, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom. Right, so the Lord's going to do that. Okay, that's what you see going on now. He's being brought down, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. Right, because that's what Yahushua said. He that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. Okay, so the Lord is not mocked. Okay, so what his man has done is going to happen unto him, but the point of recompense, he's going to get it double. All right. Verse 14, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. Right, so does that mean, all right, yeah, let's go up and take arm and take this man down? No. All right, the Lord said, wait ye upon me. Okay, when we get the green light from the Lord, because ultimately we're in a state of, we want to get out of here. We want salvation. We want to be beamed up because we know how bad it can be down here. Okay, the Lord's doing all these things, making all these moves, and ultimately it's going to pour out and manifest all the things that have been prophesied as far as going into the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. All right, the devil coming down, great wrath, the return of our Lord, cracking the skies, and the so-called UFOs. Okay, beaming up his elect. All right, that war in heaven. All right, all these things are going to be playing out here on the earth. All right, and the point of us is inquiring how the godly shall be saved. Okay, not worrying about how this devil is going to go down. We know he's going to go down. We just hope we're going to get out of here. All right, and the Lord's going to do that. Of course, we know about hunters being turned into fishers being turned into hunters. Okay, but that's when we get the green light. Okay, because first, ultimately, you have to be chosen. We're called, but we're not chosen yet, and we don't have no might in our hands to be doing this. Okay, because this is the Lord's show. This is how He's going to get His glory. Okay, so the Lord's going to do this. That's the point. Okay, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. All right, so the Lord's anger, not our anger. Not our wrath, okay? We're not justified by none of that. All right, we're only justified by Yahweh Shmi Shai, okay? And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh Shmi Shai. So ultimately, again, going into what they've done unto us, when they're in shackles and they're brought low to the ground, all right, and they're put in reservations, okay, and so on and so forth, okay, plantations, right? They're going to know the anger of the Lord, okay, because this is the beginning of Esau's punishment, okay? That's scripture say Esau is the inner world and Jacob's the beginning of that follow it. All right, so he's going to know everything he has done. It wasn't me. I didn't, prepare slaughter for the children of iniquity, right? They shall complain of an ungodly father because they shall be what? Reproached for his sake, all right? So why do you think we're still in punishment? Because what our forefathers did, because we are our forefathers, all right? So what more are you, Esau, okay? We drunk of the cup. Now it's your turn. That cup being slavery. All right. So prepare. All right. But all we gotta do is wait and watch. Okay, that's our job. All right. But Lord's willingness be edified, and as always, want to give our praise to Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Millstone, and peace and blessings to the whole flock of Israel. Shalom.